One of the things I noticed was that I definitely was feeling like, very in my head
Mm.
at times, just like to analysis, and it was all here, and I'd be like in the bathroom washing my hands, and like I wasn't even there for it. And it was just like that fly energy, like there's like flies all around you. I can just remember a moment where I thought specifically, this is because it's Yellow Warrior. Like I kind of woke up to that. And then with that, instead of it just being a thing I was being subjected to, it I shifted into like just being very aware and very present and almost feeling it in a sensory way of like, whoa, like this is Yellow Warrior that I'm experiencing. Like, so another thing I noticed, do you remember how we talked about how red serpent is the occult glyph? It's associated with the root chakra. It's very physical, to do with the body and life force energy, which is also stored in the root. And another thing about the root chakra is that it's got a certain quality of rage. Is unique to it. Like our rage really comes from our root, like our lowest chakra in our body. And
Hmm.
boy, was I feeling the rage, Aunt Linda. Like, it's not an unfamiliar feeling for me. Like, I know this feeling. I was able to at least like, recognize it, but it's like this fucking untapped rage and it's like bodily and it was really interesting. I was just like feeling this anger. And then I was like, you know what? Like, that actually makes so much sense for it to be in this occult magic power for the warrior because the warrior needs that rage and like fire.
Oh, right.
And it
Right. To
was another layer
fight
of
and
like,
be
oh, it's
true.
cool that Red Serpent's in that placement. I really enjoyed it. If I were to describe the transition between the wave spell we're ending today, it just reminds me, I keep seeing a warrior like diving into the flow that everything is in. Because it's very much about like getting synchronized and getting in rhythm with the flow of life, and also about purification and release. I'm gonna bring us to our little whiteboard. Cause I made a presentation. So the red moon wave spell running from July 6th, which is tomorrow, Monday, until July 18th. Red moon. The other names it was known by was just water and jade. So
Hmm.
jade was a really precious stone in ancient Mesoamerica. It's associated with water and life and purity. So yeah, the first thing I think of when we're in Red Moon is very strong emotional experiences. It's almost like there's a force amplifying
I don't know if
our
I'm ready for that.
emotions. And it goes, you what?
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
All of the wave spells are really intense in their own ways, and you're going to experience it to the extent also that you have the capacity to experience it. The more that you clear out of yourself, the more intense it will get, but also the more capacity you have for it. So, like, life really doesn't give you more than you can handle because you are life. And it literally can't to some extent. To some extent. Like your body can't give you. That's why things show up in our bodies and like subconsciously because sometimes we don't have the capacity to experience it consciously. So, yeah, with emotions being stronger, I think of the full moon. It's so real. When the moon is full, parasites are more active. Kindergartners get crazier. Rooms are fuller and crazier. Everything is really amplified during a full moon,
Yeah.
especially emotionally.
Yeah, they say there's more crime.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
And then the other comparison I want to make is if you think about like a menstrual cycle or a period, their emotions are so much more potent and so intense. And that's the other thing that this very much makes me think of. And it's kind of throughout. There's sort of references to that or just connections to that throughout this energy of Red Moon. So, why does everything get so potent and so powerful One of the reasons is just because we're human. I don't want to jump right into like, it's to purify and release, because part of it is genuinely just because this fucking emotional experience is so rich and we're meant to feel all of it. So it's this opportunity to like really deepen into the complexity and like the intensity to some extent of our emotions. And it's a way to do that, an opportunity to do that without judging it or numbing it, and instead being able to really be with it and to taste all the flavors of emotion and to like really bathe in it, to really be there. And also, besides just to experience it, there is the part where this is a really helpful energy for purification and releasing and healing. If you've ever heard of the phrase, in order to heal it, you have to feel it. Like you have to go through it if it's going to be released. And like that's a thing with therapy, right? We need to talk about stuff. Um,
Yeah.
when someone's getting trauma therapy, like with EMDR, they'll go through the experience again, but like in a safe environment so it can be felt and released. And my I have a little, it's not little. I love that it's water. I love that it's water for healing and releasing for so many reasons. For one thing, if you think of crying, right? Like it's one of our most important ways to release emotion is crying water through our faces. And when we have a cut or a wound, we use salt water to wash that out, or like an Epsom salt bath to draw something out. And honestly, there's nothing energetically more cleansing than to swim in the ocean. Like there's nothing that resets me more and that I just like am feeling and like things are releasing than a freaking swim in the ocean, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And then water just is widespread associated elementally with feeling, like elementally and energetically and astrologically with feeling. So, like the astrological sign Cancer, which are we in it? No, we're not. Yeah, we are. We're in the sign of Cancer right now. So that's fun because these feel related because it has the moon as its primary planet, as its celestial body that it's associated with strongly is the moon for Cancer. And Cancer is a very sensitive sign, and it's a water sign. And it's very, very sensitive, and it also has a pinch, which is red moon. And red moon people oftentimes will be very sensitive and very feeling with this pinch. And then Cancer is very feminine and motherly, and then just kind of feels like menstrually related to me a little bit. So, also, with it being a releasing wave salt, the full moon is traditionally about letting go. Like people who follow moon cycles, the new moon is about seeding things and setting intentions, and then the full moon is about releasing. And it also makes me think of a period again, like a menstrual cycle, because menstruation, when that part happens, where there's blood present, that is release and shedding, and that's what that represents. So I find that really interesting too. Another thing about water is that it flows, right? It knows how to flow with itself. And so red moon is a really helpful energy for tuning in to our sensitivity to this whole thing, right? We're all submerged in this one thing. We are this one thing, water is itself, and being able to flow with that intuitively. So it's allowing ourselves to be guided and to synchronize with the tidal and cyclical currents that are happening, whether we like it or are knowingly taking part or not. Because we are always at the mercy to some extent of just what this is. And so we can tune in to that instead of living in like arrhythmic resistance to it, which also helps us just to lean into the oneness of this and we synchronize and we are flowing with it and the universality. And I love that all living things are united by water, and it's what we, look for when we go to other planets and we get curious. So, going over to its medicine wheel, these are its friends. Here we go. We have red moon in the center. That's our
Hmm.
kin. And then we can see on the right is the analog kin, which is the one that's most similar to it and helps us understand it better. It can be a supportive energy for it too. Down here, we have the occult glyph, which is the secret magic power in yellow human. And then on the left is the challenge, which is in blue storm. So, analog glyph over here with white dog. So, white dog is a very heart centered energy in this system. It's very feeling. So, the family that white dog is a part of, each one is associated with a certain part of the brain. So, like last Wavespell, remember Red Serpent? Red Serpent is associated with the lowest part of the brain, like with the survival part of the brain, the body. And then White Dog is associated with the limbic system, with the emotional and relating part of our brains. So it's very pure feeling, and like a dog, it's very immediately and freely expressed. um,
Oh, right.
yeah, so like White Dog is also related to interpersonal dynamics and family and belonging, that kind of heart relational energy, which also makes me think of Cancer because that's associated with relating in family and sensitivity. Yeah. So that's White Dog. So then underneath, we have the magic power for Red Moon. So this is the power that we can tap into to enhance our experience of Red Moon and what it's doing for us. So we've got Yellow Human down there. Keywords associated with this energy are free will and wisdom and our psychic connection, basically. So, of all of the symbols in this whole system, this is the one that's most archetypally human. All right. It's the only one that is like specifically be human. And I just find it so fitting and cute that it's so immediately associated with Red Moon because there's nothing more human than, in my opinion, and in my experience, than being so sensitive emotionally and so complex emotionally and so intense and so complicated and so nuanced. And I just love it as an art form, emotions. Right. So another really important aspect of Yellow Human is free will. So that's one of the trademark things about human beings, right? Is we have this kind of special relationship with free will because of our it's one of the most important things about being human is that we are conscious in this particular way and we get to choose so much.
Yeah,
And
I could speak to that like in religious, like Christian terms, the free will, even though, God may know the outcome, you have free will and you can do what you want. It may not be the best.
yeah,
You have the free will to choose which path you take.
yeah, right, for sure. And it's so important for this energy where it's so feels like so much and like it can be very impulsive, red moon energy. And so having that awareness of your responsibility of free will and your choice and how much creation you have with your free will is so important to be in this magic enhancing power of yellow human for that really intense experience. Like, yeah, you might be like feeling so much, but like you're still the one who gets to choose how to act on it. And if you're gonna
Right.
have like 5 bowls of cereal and numb it out,
Right.
you're gonna
Yeah.
lean into it and journal or go scream or whatever you need to do. And so one of the things that this also brings up for me is like this is something I think about not infrequently is the balance between how much of it is fated because it really feels like it's both. One of the ways I heard somebody describe it in a near-death experience that they had was when they looked at it, it was like there were these certain points on this map of their life, like certain points that were more stationary, and then they were seeing between the points like three different paths to get there, or like four different paths that you could choose on how to get there, but these points in life were sort of non-negotiable. And there's so many things that when people come back and they talk about it, they're like, yeah, I remembered that I planned my life. Like I picked who my parents were going to be and like all of this stuff. Like there is a lot that we pick and there's a lot that we're along for the ride for. And like I did not used to think this. I'm not just like saying it and I wouldn't say it if it wasn't in so much stuff and didn't feel so resonant for me. And so there's that aspect, which is fascinating and feels so beautiful. And there's just certain things that happen in life to kind of affirm it in a weird way. But while that is relevant, while it is happening, and while Red Moon helps us to kind of intuitively flow with the go, like there is this thing that's happening, like this universe that's happening that knows what it wants to be and like knows what it is and where it's going, and you're a part of it and you're flowing with it. And there's something so beautiful in being able to do that. And also, if we're thinking of waves and where these waves are flowing, yellow human, with it giving us free will, lets us surf those waves. So instead of just like kind of throwing your hands up and being like, I'm just gonna flow with it because, like I'm just a part of it. With Yellow Human, that reminder of free will, it gives you so much balance and autonomy within the flow.
Why
It's this
there's a surfer
beautiful
in your
balance.
picture. In your picture.
What is it?
The surfer.
Yeah, I put a surfer in there. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
He had a yellow surfboard, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were also dog prints in the sand and a piece of jade in the sand. And then like storms in the distance for Blue Storm on the left.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm having fun with those.
Yeah.
Getting more kind of layered with it. So, another thing about Yellow Human, if you see, it has a very pronounced ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it like that?
So it's because it's associated with our psychic connection, and it's especially listening, like clairaudience, like listening oriented. And that doesn't necessarily have to be literal, but it's like a listening for guidance and a listening for like a higher knowing. That with that part being like a magic power for Red Moon. Like, if we're in this process of tuning into our sensitivity and instinctually like knowing what to do and how to go, then yellow humans' ability to listen and like, tap in with that guidance is really helpful. And they can be like listening in a feeling way, like just listening. Because Red Moon is very, like if somebody has Red Moon as their guiding glyph, it's about being able to listen to signs and listen to guidance. So the shadow for Yellow Human being in this spot and just Yellow Human in general is with some addictive tendencies and escapism. And so that's just something to be aware of. But we'll talk more about that. But so the challenge over here on the left, we have Blue Storm. It's a pretty cool glyph. I like drawing this one. So if you kind of remember what have mentioned about the connection between the challenge and the kin is so important. Like this one is especially important. It's kind of like this system, which is made up of 20 kins, 20 of these glyphs, is almost like it's made up of 10 energies, like 10 spokes of energy with two faces each. So this challenge and kin, they're always so related and they're like different faces of each other. So it really helps to understand. But the blue storm is the energy of what it sounds like. It's the storm that comes through and blows everything. It's very transformative and like chaotically catalyzing. So if there's old dead tree branches, the storm will come through and knock those down. If there's an old building that's decrepit and falling apart anyway, the storm's probably going to take that out first. It's just like utter transformation. And it's like, I feel it as something that blows through, like really blows through and like blows everything around. I kind of love storm energy. It can be a little chaotic, but it's just an interesting thing. But with it being a challenge of red moon, it's something that we can get too caught up in. Like if you think about a blue storm, it can bring the tides out of balance and there can be storm surges in the water because red moon's already an intense energy. So it's a challenge to have like the chaotic aspect of blue storm when it gets to be a lot. Um,
Yeah, it's a little bit too much to handle. Those two things at the same time.
well, it's kind of like one thing. It's kind of like one thing. Yeah, like it's not like, oh, we're piling more on. It's just like that's why I like drew this little thing here in between them
Mhm.
because they're kind of like one thing and it's always like that. Like when we were in the Blue Knight wave spell and then Red Skywalker is its challenge, which is very exploratory oriented and very psychedelic, like a waking dream and intense in that way and like exploring the subconscious in that way, like with eyes open. It's not just like, oh, we're adding that to Blue Knight. It's like part of Blue Knight. Really, the when it's talking about a challenge over here, it's always just that we're needing balance. I never find anyone who like their challenge isn't something they have too much of or too little of. Like it's always both. They have that energy in them, and it's just about finding balance with this energy. So for Red Moon, it's about allowing the purification and the transformation to happen without getting caught up in it, without it being too much. Because if you think about a storm, like a storm, surfers actually love storms sometimes, and they'll
They do.
flock to them
Mm.
because they have awesome fucking waves to ride, and it's this super
Right.
cool, intense experience. But they carry a risk, like, and you have to be careful and aware and good at surfing.
Yeah.
So it's just about finding that balance. Another thing with Blue Storm being this transformational energy is that there can be not enough of it. So with Red Moon, there may be a tendency to hold on to things. I'm imagining someone like gripping something in the storm or like just trying to grit their teeth and like not fucking change anything when like what really needs to happen is to let go and to some extent like go with the flow of what's happening because it's gonna be happening. You have to allow that storm to like blow through you and for that transformation to happen. And it's just about finding the balance and of not throwing away your surfboard and being like, okay, then take me. Like, no, you still want to surf.
Yeah.
Still want to choose, but you don't want to hang on and, you know, like get undertowed because, like, if you think about a big giant wave that's coming towards you on the beach, like, it's coming towards you. If you try to run away from it or, like, ignore it, like, go on top of it, you're probably going to wipe out. But if you go under it,
Yes.
feel it, and you go
Yes.
into it, then that's how you get through it. And then there's a huge gift in the balance and in the nuance and in balancing these blue storm and red moon energies that are so linked in the one thing that they really truly are. Whew. So, light and shadow, because this is the world we live in, and that's okay. It's so dualistic. Every single sign in here is so dualistic. Like, if somebody is a red serpent, they're going to experience this really intense connection with their body and like really like synesthetic and clairsentient and grounded, and then they're also going to experience the shadow of being either like totally disconnected from body and super up in mind, or of being way too in the body and like carnally craving all these things and just not even caring about anything, right? So all of the signs, I just gave that as an example, but all of the signs have that light and shadow. And it's just about finding balance within it. It's not about avoiding any aspect, it's just about finding balance. So, with the light, we have a really rich spectrum of emotion that we get to experience and deepen into. And it's so cool and special. And conversely, it can feel like too much and it can feel very overwhelming. So then it can be about like purifying, releasing, but there can also be a tendency for resistance or like hanging on to resentments. There can be a universal flow, or there can also be the aspect of hanging on too tight and feeling very fearful. And then there's either like surfing and choosing or, getting swept away in the current. And I just put these over here like to be aware of the shadow because if I had given myself at the beginning of the Yellow Warrior Wave spell a notice or a reminder of the shadow is being very self-critical and being very over analytical and questioning yourself with fear instead of with courage, like doubting yourself. If I had given myself that at the beginning of the wave spell and like written it out or just reminded myself, I think it would have been so helpful for a lot of ways that I experienced that. I feel like just being aware of the shadow and an
Yeah, I
energy
get it.
is so helpful. And it's not like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. They're both gonna happen no matter what. You're gonna experience the beautiful and the everything. But I love being aware of it because then I get to be aware of it. And then I'm like, oh, I can just like notice it as a pattern playing out and as the energy. And then I get to choose from there, right? I get to choose better with my free will because I have more of an awareness of what's going on. So, some red moon tips is to give yourself love and grace. If you're feeling something really strongly, you don't have to judge it. You just kind of get to witness it as red moon energy and get curious. Breathe through, lean into it instead of numbing or reacting or judging. No numbing, no numbing, no numbing. Breathe through, lean in, and go under the wave. That's how we do it. And then spend some time with our actual moon, if you'd like, because she is an interesting,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And I feel like the moon can be like very psychically enhancing when you spend time with it. And so I love that yellow human with like the psychic of the Tolkien is in the occult glyph. It's always flipped. So like for the yellow human, red moon is its occult glyph. Okay. Are you ready for journal prompts?
No, I don't have my pen. Hold on.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Number one. Okay. If I could set an intention to purify or cleanse or release, I kind of want to just use the word purify. I'm feeling that. So just write that part down. If I could set an intention to purify one aspect of my life, what would it be? If I could set an intention to purify one aspect of my life, what would it be? And no matter what, there's no judgment or expectation for the answer. It can be cleaning the trunk of your car. It can be unpacking years of childhood trauma. It can be anything at all, as long as it's real for you and you feel it. Okay, number two. Beep, boop, boop, bam. How can I show up with love, gentility, and balance for myself while deepening into the discomfort around that purification process? Love. Love. I want to focus on that word. How can you show up with love for yourself while deepening into the discomfort around purification? Okay, that's what it is if you're copying it. So how can I show up with love for myself? Just lovingly. Okay, I like this question. What is one thing that has proven itself not to work as an emotional coping mechanism? And then this part is optional on why. It's really just most important to know about it. You don't have to say why, but just what's one thing that has proven itself to not work for you as an emotional coping mechanism? And what is one loving, grounding, healthy More rewarding alternative. The word healthy feels important. All right, you got it?
Yeah.
Got them all? Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna answer those too because I could sure use them. I'm excited for the energy I'm entering this with, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And this time, this wave spell, since I forgot to mention this, but since it's red, it's an initiating wave spell. Because red initiates, white purifies, blue transforms, and yellow fruits. So we kind of just ended a part like a castle of learning, a destiny castle, with the yellow warrior, and now we are boom into the red moon, so it's an initiatory period. I'm going to send you a link for an app that I've been meaning to send to you. I'm going to do it right now, actually. So, this is just so that you can, if you ever want to, if you ever are wondering what day it is, because we're in this red moon wave spell, but it has 13 unique days. I should really start putting the wave spells on here so you can see. I'm going to do that next time. But, it has 13 unique energies that we go through on all of these days, and it's really fun to be aware of them. Yeah, and if you ever have questions, I'm always here. If you ever have other
Okay.
questions, I welcome them, no matter how whatever they are. All right, I hope that you have a purifying, balanced, and that you enjoy the water.